Monique was trying to rip the band off and go back to the island they were paying for free. Shayla was affected by the articles and made up a story to cover her simple disloyalty to her friends. India was having a great time but saw an opportunity for fame and money in the ongoing attacks Channel 9 had already engaged in. David Otto was being attacked with fake stories for being talented, entrepreneurial and hardworking, and that's it. They used women because women are the ones who love his music and his soul the most. Take a listen and you'll see why. You'll love it. And just the name-calling isn't what the problem is. He can take that. It's the misuse of emergency resources. Taking your assets and your ability to make an income, then saying you're not making enough. Those active private attacks on his day to say life is when the unholy abuse began. The political asylum application was only not approved because of the pending false case Channel 9 had organized. But after another year, the false case was then dropped because the main witness admitted she had been lying the whole time to help police put life imprisoned on the two musicians Channel 9 was trying to silence. Shortly after, the band was then displaced by yet another corrupt court ruling early in 2020 after her landlord got away with stealing property from her and made threats for money not owed. Because of the frustration of the real estate agent, clearly affected by the fake articles stealing property, making extortion threats and now lying in court to obtain a spiteful eviction based on perjury. After the 9 attacks and sick of the effect of the articles on David, Kitty separated off, got kicked out of Hoy's After House and was raped by 3 police officers in April 2020 in Brisbane because she was now without support. After being admitted to a psychiatric facility to recover from the politically motivated police attack, the band is now reunited as it seemed things got even worse when they tried to get support separately. What's being done to the is extremely wrong. Being stolen from and abused, then media lying about them to remove support. The band needs the support of lots of people on petitions and in the support network of classes every week to keep them safe from Channel 9 hunting the band through the delegation of false ideas to people around them. It's just interesting for people to see first of all that there's no substance behind any of the negative claims in their articles or the court win they brag about. It was all a lie to the public. And the real problem and need for foreign government protection was because 9 was starting to engage in actual murder of animals and false life sentences to cover up what they'd done, causing the rape of a vulnerable young woman in the community who they were doing a story on, and yet still expecting your family to look up to them for truth. Channel 9 are despicable and the actual criminals of the story, along with Ewan, Eddie, Myro, Jamie, Nicholas, Jess, Shayla, Monique, Kathleen, Michael, Judith, Sandy, Glenn, Lynn Ortner, and the 3 officers at the Brisbane Watch House. Though send them your dark messages, they actually deserve it for deceiving the public and pulling on undeserved sympathy to make fools of every person who watched those fake articles. While the only real crimes were being committed against the band by these people all along, entitled to do it because false rumors made them think it would be okay to do the wrong thing. 9 is not interested in exposing actual criminals on the show, otherwise Bob, who was taking photos of Jessie's feet when she was 3, would be on the show. They don't do stories on actual creeps. They'd be worried they come after 9 staff and be actually dangerous. They only go after people they know they'd be safe if they went after. But there's a light at the end of this tunnel. The band all along had a secret weapon they have never used, because they spent so many thousands of hours chatting with girls after band practice. These girls told the band everything about the actual creeps and abusers in their life Channel 9 doesn't care to do anything about, and if girls really did feel the way 9 makes up, they wouldn't ever share these extremely private stories with the group. This documentary is a bomb of those stories. Just have a think about that for a second. In reality, hundreds of girls have been a part of this band because they love the music, they feel comfortable around David, they like the learning style, the concept, and the stage outfits, and so they spend in reality hundreds of hours each girl around the band, and most of that time is spent socializing because the girls will come over for band practice, then stay all night talking and drinking because they feel safe and happy in the space. Out of hundreds of girls and hundreds of hours each, Channel 9 could only get 4 or 5 to tell what were only made-up stories. That tells you everything. So think about that. What 9 says is false. These girls come over to play music, then of their own free will stay sometimes for days after because they feel so happy and comfortable. Hundreds of them over the years. So what do they start talking about after band practice? Cause boy do they talk. These are attractive girls because that's what makes music and fashion appealing to the masses. That's just smart, but that also means they experienced a wide array of strange behavior out of the people around them growing up. Now you're about to see what these girls saw growing up. This is David turning the mirror on mothers who let their boyfriends touch their daughters, and boyfriends who beat their girlfriends, and fathers and grandfathers who do unspeakable things to their daughters. David Otto has been told about all of it in confidence, and yet people have had the gall to displace lies onto him and his music when 2 and 3 girls are telling him about disgusting things that actually happened to them when they were kids that nothing was ever done about and that Channel 9 hides. This abuse is the reason why these girls grow up to be pieces of shit who lie and hate and think it's okay to be nasty because they feel like the world owes them something, because in a way, it kinda does. Have some respect for your daughters and granddaughters. David does. He loves them and treats them as equals and regards their thoughts, ideas, and dreams as much as his own. That's why women love David Otto so much. Apart from all his beautiful soulful music, it's the amazing person behind it all that they love so dearly and want to share themselves with. David Otto is an idol to young women. They tell him these stories because they trust him. He knows how to make it okay. He's not even bothered by the biggest criminals in Australia and lived with the Mexican cartel for 2.5 months to claim his freedom. So if he can be like that, you can be strong enough to stand up strong against your abusers. Go get him. Channel 9 either doesn't know or doesn't care about the full extent of family abuse in Australia. They just seek to take advantage of it and use women's suffering as a tool to advance their business. They really are doing that. The more people know about what the band does, the more they like every part of it. Why wouldn't they? It's an open, transparent activity with a lot of fun and exciting features for the girls that perform and the fans who learn with us and watch. David just can't sit back knowing that a girl is out there bored and depressed from domestic violence, and if she was spending time with him, she'd feel a little stronger to stand up against it and set a brighter future for herself. Believe in that future and go after it. And what he loves about doing it online is that they can be anywhere, and if we have a huge explosion of new fans, we don't need a bigger room right away, but a girl can get the benefit of his support right where she is if she just reaches out. Playing guitar and socializing isn't the worst thing the people in his classes could be doing, especially when Channel 9 can't be relied on to protect them from family abuse. Journalists are overprivileged, lack the knowledge, and have a different objective that benefits from people being hurt. David really could not care less if a girl wants to sleep with him or not. Some do, some don't. He just wants them all to be safe and feel alive about their future, whether or not he ever meets them in person. Sometimes that's in person as part of the show because they want to be close to him. Sometimes it's just online cause they're in a different place. I mean, what we do is really simple. We learn the songs, then hear about what's going on in the girl's life to see that she's safe, then teach the general public together and perform live. This air that she's somehow better off back around a guy that abuses her is completely wrong. What's sad is situations like with a recent band girl Selene, where she loved playing with the band one night a week but her boyfriend wouldn't allow it. She still says she's in the band to people, has her band photos as her profile picture, but her boyfriend won't allow her out to practice. We will soon share the stories of many more like this. Why is it important to tell this story now? There are 3 reasons. Channel 9 Seconds fake articles are still up affecting landlords, fans, and band members. The band didn't need a landlord anymore, but Channel 9 took the band house and put them back with one, which stopped them helping women escape abuse. David is happy to have cameras and recording on him for every moment he spends with the band girls. Would you? Police not acting on the theft and extortion the real estate agent committed in late 2021, then the real estate agent being led by a judge to lie under oath to obtain a false eviction to set the band into homelessness and disarray again in early 2022 while being stopped from renting anywhere else by the real estate agent suggests that the sense of entitlement to break the law against the band and engage in corruption still hasn't stopped. Even when the fake articles are finally down, there may still be lingering memories of the false claims from the general atmosphere 9 arrogantly created, and that needs to be treated and corrected. People don't realize how great what this band does is yet. The whole world should know, and you should not let any lie fester. The public needs to know what happened to these 2 music superheroes here to deter it from ever happening again. The public needs to know that Channel 9 uses your local police to intimidate people and could bring false cases against your family if they feel like. It's not a nice situation and it needs to be fixed. Citizen journalism through the internet is the way to fix it. In the new world of journalism, you only get a voice because you have audio, video, and images of what you're describing from the time that it's happening. Everything else gets ignored. False narratives can't survive this harsh spotlight and evaporate away. What actually happened minute by minute is the only story. David has been a mentor to other musicians his whole life, and he has a duty to them to make the path to a life in music safer. And he has that opportunity with his classes, events, and this documentary. By raising awareness and offering some interesting self-defense techniques using a phone and social media. David explains, if I had have known about #record everything and #broadcast everything back when we started, I don't think 9 would ever have been able to get started. I was a little too trusting of the girls because I grew up around honest women who fought for every break they got. I thought everyone was like that, but they're not. It's then no secret that I want lots of inquiries to fill my friendly concert classes on live stream and live all over the world to share my music and fashion with everyone. Some bad things are still being done to Kitty by the Australian government. They let her landlord commit perjury to kick her out and then played the game that Eddie was playing back in 2012 where they interfered with her housing applications to get a new place, and without stability and proper medication she ended up in the custody of the state against her will. They took away her stability to lead her to that, knowing it would hurt me. With a house, garden, and a couple of pets, that's all the therapy she needs to soothe her behavioral conditions, so I'm saving everything from easy guitar classes and band model classes to acquire a house for her to give her a great quality of life, and a place big enough for rehearsals and a recording studio between tours out to meet with everyone who's learning online. If that project gets completed in full public view, then Channel 9 becomes unable to steal it in the shadows. I'm gonna be one of those rock musicians who tours till his last breath, and there's nothing Channel 9 can do about it. My desires going forward. Yeah, we take what we do very seriously and put a lot of work in, and all I ask is anyone who joins and realizes this is about excellence, and that doesn't happen overnight. That takes work and dedication. If you see through the 12 weeks, you'll be proud of yourself for it. Having said that, I'm excited to see that past performers maybe find their way back now that the world knows what really happened here and they don't have to explain their involvement to anyone. Everyone can just see that it's awesome, and the girls can be duly skeptical just of the people that lie about the opportunity, because time has shown that the people who do that, the controlling mothers, boyfriends, and Channel 9 are the real ones putting the girls in hospitals, prisons, and early graves. Not this band. Put your hate where it belongs. Those entities need control of the girl. We don't give a shit about control. We just want to play music together for a while. I love my family and I respect the family unit, but I have no time for abuse. What Channel 9 did to us was like domestic violence on a corporate level. Controlling money, controlling where you could go, cutting you off from friends, getting you fired from your job, trying to dox you online, playing the victim, then gaslighting you, saying the whole thing's your fault. No wonder Australia has one of the worst domestic violence problems in the world. They get it from Channel 9. They're setting that up as the culture, but they got caught with their pants down getting thrown out of the U.S. immigration court. Now the whole world can see how childish and violent Channel 9 is, and it was all caused by how much monopolistic power free-to-air TV had for a few decades, but that's over now. When I say Channel 9, I mean wannabe failed Prime Minister Peter Costello, wannabe Kerry Packer's son David Gingell, Tracy Grimshaw, executives, and the abusive Chinese investors who now run the company. These are the people who set the culture that keeps Australia down. They restrict innovation and entertainment and create an abusive environment to live in. It's the ghost of Kerry Packer that runs through their veins. And even though every Australian entrepreneur wishes they were more of a prick like Kerry, maybe they shouldn't. The richest guy in the world is one of the nicest guys in the world, so you don't have to be a bad person to make money. These executives have a direct line down to certain police officers, so it's a fairly small cancer in the Australian ecosystem. Someone was watching over now though. The US government. The immigration judge now suggested that it could be safer to go back and tidy up what Channel 9 had done now that the full story had been shared with a higher power. Sure enough, a short time after David returned to Australia, a letter was received in relation to the fake charges and life sentence Channel 9 had been organizing, that police had decided to discontinue the matter. One of the band's lawyers exclaimed that in 40 years as a lawyer he'd never seen a letter like that. Into 2020, COVID made it a challenge to book gigs, so it was an opportunity to develop the pre-recorded band course to help new band members learn the music via Zoom. Before this documentary, it has been a great way to capture the best moments of a girl's time with the band before the fateful day where she gets the Channel 9 death touch from watching their fake articles and goes back to the perceived safety of her old life. One of many examples from 2020 onwards. If this was Sarah, who loved coming to band practice, laughing and sassily talking in the band's online TV show each week, but a violent and abusive ex-partner became jealous of this new happiness Sarah had with the band, even though Sarah and her were no longer together. She was only happy if Sarah was miserable and got in the way if she had hoped for a bright future. The ex researched the band, found the fake material 9 created, and used it to her benefit to get Sarah to quit. The ex, Ursula, then used the power and isolation of getting Sarah back on her own to beat her to the ground and hospitalized her. Had the articles not had any power over Sarah, she would have never ended up back in the hands of the ex whom she had already escaped. Sarah finally escaped Ursula again, but because she was confused and falsely told by Shayla in 9's fake article that she would somehow be hurt if she went back to play in the band after escaping Ursula, she ended up back in the hands of a different ex-partner with similar anger issues, who then beat her over the head with a golf club. Now you see what we saw. The new band house in Brisbane was a great place for scores of girls in 2020 and 2021, and they got a lot done. The original landlord of the band house, Jenny, loved the band and things looked bright. But sadly, a new agent was put in place who had what we now call 9 eyes, and she'd seen the fake criminal claim material and thought she could do whatever she wanted without anyone watching or looking into it. Her name was Toni Heck. She took over the band house in August 2021. She immediately began calling the band up multiple times a day, demanding to speak with them, but had no reason for the call that she wanted to identify by text or email. It was just flagrant harassment. She would come into the house any time of the night or day without warning and organized repeated fire alarm inspections for just one room as a harassment. She was trying to push Kitty for a reaction she could kick the band out over. This was a safe space that the visiting band girls like Sarah needed to stay safe away from abusive partners like Ursula and Jay and be normal again. A girl named Larissa started attending practice after attending one of David's birthday parties. She was a gorgeous girl but had her teeth knocked out by an ex-boyfriend, so wore a full denture even though she was only 28. She's beautiful, but this same partner has also poured gasoline all over her and threatened to set her on fire. He was never on a cab, but he is an actual danger to women. Channel 9 is only interested in stopping threats to their income from amazing new products. Income you could be sharing in. Well, you don't, because Channel 9 is busy vilifying David Otto for risking his life to offer women hope and a future while protecting actual criminals who mutilate women. Larissa was now safe, enjoying band practice each week. To protect her from Channel 9, the band recorded everything so that 9 becomes unable to make the girl lie, because every time and data point 9 could try to get them lie about was already on recording, and the lie could be proven false because everything was on recording. But Larissa's current boyfriend had seen the fake articles and used them to motivate himself into excessive control over her. He would continually have things for her to do all of a sudden at band practice time that were hard for her to get out of. The final one was where she was texting looking forward to practice that afternoon, and her boyfriend knew that and suddenly booked them to stay at a place 2 hours into the bush at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night, and after protesting that she didn't want to go, he forced her and was madly driving her and her 2 children on dark winding roads through the mountains at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night against her will. She was asked if he usually organizes holidays like this. She admitted he never does. It was purely about control, even if it meant endangering her children. The guy was never on a sea as a danger to women, but Trent is also a danger to children as well. In August 2021, Tony Heck had become the new Ewan and Eddie. Tony took it upon herself to steal and damage the band's belongings on the property without any lawful excuse. A police report was made, but police refused to charge her for the theft and willful damage because of who the victim was. Police and the housing authority confirmed a crime had occurred. This inaction led to more violence by the agent. Since taking over from the previous agent, Tony Heck had lost the key to one of the rooms. She sent an email to the band that she was going to charge them for changing the locks if they didn't pay to make and give her a copy of the key she'd lost. This was illegal. It was extortion. Tony and her goon Manula then appeared at the property aggressive and body barging, demanding the key to get out of the cost and embarrassment of their mistake and trying to control other adults' use of the toilet. The Channel 9 articles are the only danger to women. They make people act like monsters. The articles are only designed to give the band a constant series of day-to-day survival problems to keep them from booking shows and building a following. They're obviously not designed to protect anybody from anything, because a detailed history now shows 9 only causes havoc in the lives of everyone involved. The fake articles are a danger to society, trying to throw criminality on innocent people and not telling the public about actual dangerous criminals like Eddie Nicholas and Ewan. Tony Heck, the band house landlord, then continued the petty harassment of the band in 2022, claiming that asking her not to send extortion threats by email was a reason for eviction. The band had grown a beautiful therapy garden and shared produce with the local neighbors. They would give fresh chilies and tomatoes and receive homemade jams and garden furniture. Even though they had saved a considerable amount towards buying a property, had a lease for another 6 months to give time to purchase something. The band looked for a new place, but Tony blocked them every step of the way to try to make them homeless. Manula was then organized to lie in court to take over the band house, even though the video in the court shows her assaulting David and trying to exercise toilet control for not giving over a free copy of the key they'd lost. The band was given 3 days to move, but were at the same time stopped from moving into any house they applied for. Their belongings went to storage. Everything was cracked and broken in the sudden move. Working in the garden was therapy for Kitty for 2 years. The therapy garden was torn up. The band ended up living in a motel. This has to stop. The agent under oath said there was no garden at the house. They were just lying for no reason now. It was again a game of spite to cause homelessness. The Channel 9 articles train people to lie under oath. It undermines the justice system that keeps people safe in the modern world. The real estate agent had done this as a personal attack because the fake articles told them to, just like the real estate agent in 2015. After Kitty was kicked out because of the articles yet again, being already at risk of suicide because her cats were killed and now her therapy garden was torn up, she said, "I can't deal with what they keep doing to us. I have to get somewhere I can be crazy for a while." Even though the judge said the band couldn't be there based on lies told by the agent, in the saddest turn of events, Kitty went back to reclaim the garden at the old band house where she'd gotten so much healing done. Police, who never arrested the agent when it was proven the agent stole the band's belongings, extorted them for money that was not owed, and put their lives in danger by opening up the house for unsupervised house inspections when no one was there, then took full action just because Kitty had gone back to try to salvage the memory of her healing garden. They arrested Kitty and put her in a paddy wagon, drove her crazily around the suburb, knocking her around in the back. They pulled up at Indooroopilly police station and held her in the back. 6 officers sat around talking. 2 of them then took her to the Brisbane watchhouse, took her to a cell, pulled her clothes held off as she was crying, and the 3 officers told her to shut up and this is your fault as one held her head on the concrete and another police officer aggressively raped her. She was put out into the street, went crazy, and was soon admitted to a mental institution after the attack. Kitty was now institutionalized. It shows David's program keeps girls out of trouble and then a good life, then Channel 9 sends them into harm and chaos while lying about where to find safety. All to sabotage a talented musician's career and his basic day-to-day livelihood as a musician. In a telling reveal by David's lawyer, who had been tampered with by Channel 9, he claimed in a phone call that real con men don't end up on a CA. His conscience let a sliver of truth come through. From the neighbor just helping feed the cats and the police turning up saying don't get involved. So 9 could take over the band's property and finally sell it off to keep the money. Federal police turning up to the band's friends' houses bragging we're trying to make them radioactive to the public. And false cases based on lies seeking a life sentence. 9 called it a bizarre request for asylum. 9 said, he's saying he's the victim. Fortunately, with #record everything, the lies have stopped, but the cleanup begins. With #broadcast everything, the remaining government corruption will stop too. Because too many will see what the band has seen. With your support, the still ongoing craziness can stop. Check our 3 monthly update episodes for the latest progress with the band in eliminating media corruption from their lives and career for good. Fill out a petition to show your support and keep an eye out for these updates to make sure the band is safe and have your say on new events. Channel 9 directing police and courts is causing all these problems. David's career, as was the case from the beginning, is about learning and playing music and entertaining people to make their lives brighter. David's program is simply for his band to learn 6 hit songs, then get up and perform to his students and fans of his music. Learning online and #record everything is a safe way for the band to build the band classes group in each city. And the general public who like what they do can get albums and pre-recorded courses, and the band will then tour where there's most interest, recording everything and broadcasting everything as they go. Lying was the main problem. #record everything is the solution. Media corruption is still an ongoing problem. Police still permit crimes against band, and the false articles are still up, so a credible fear of persecution still exists. #broadcast everything, name and shame, and put a spotlight on wrongdoers with incontrovertible evidence is the solution. Now, fake news can't affect landlords, venue owners, because if David is looking at you, everybody's watching you. Now back to work. Basically, the band just wants a huge group of enthusiastic people learning guitar in the live stream every Tuesday from 5 p.m. and a great group learning the band's own songs via live stream in the evening after that for the best of the band. Classes stream to then be picked as the live band for tours. This band may have the most awesome way to learn guitar available and an awesome live show to look forward to and be part of every 3 months in each city. It all starts with a half-hour free trial class. Looking forward, the only way up out of it is to build towards fantastic goals that keep the band in the public eye, to achieve what they set out to achieve. You can share in the achievement of them. Ultimately, this will be everyone's success because overcoming evil like Channel 9 benefits everyone in society. The band's current goals are in 3 simple phases, all by building their online class stream and inviting those fans to live events each year. There are 2 groups, general public and band classes. General public learn any song they like. Band classes learn David's songs for tour. The phase I goal is 100 general public students per city in 8 cities and classes online each week, then live in person each year, including your chance to get up and perform on the night in a new band house to stream weekly classes from. Phase 2 leaps to 1,000 fans in 16 cities every year. Our 3 monthly updates will show you the fascinating way the band intends to achieve this. You can grow along with us every step of the way. It will be an amazing huge group learning online and attending regular concert class events. Tony Robbins and Metallica had a love child that was motivation seminar guitar classes with a rock concert at the end with David and his band as the feature act, and you can perform. Want to be a part of it? Go to the band's websites, easyguitarclasses.com, secretloveband.com, davidautomusic.com. Message us on Twitter @Nisuas. Join us on live chat this week for your free trial. Master all these songs and talk in the show. Get good at all 6 songs. Put our next live event on your calendar. Bring your friends. Play on stage. Travel. Book us for your festival. Sign the petition. Help grow the network by texting friends. The vision was always to have a weekly class and 3 monthly live events, then models in the band, and the general public enjoys the music. The live events are half class, half concert. It's the best fun in music, and it's really easy to get started. You just book a free half-hour trial class on the website. Every moment of classes and band practice is recorded and live streamed for your enjoyment. Band girl classes every week at 8 p.m. General public class at 6 p.m. both on Zoom. Then live events are from 4 p.m. in each city. After the live event workshop in each city, we then have live performances from students, and then the girls and David play songs from his catalog. It's a really fun way to learn and enjoy music. We know things are slowly being rectified. If there's hundreds in their classes in each city, they're safe and they've got a permanent home. That's key for now. Thanks for watching. Now you see what we saw, because hopefully now you can also see what we see for the future.